loves trains. Well, get set for There Goes a Train. We'll learn about trains of all shapes and sizes.
There goes the train.
Let's say there goes the train.
Hi, kids. I'm Engineer Dave. Well, you know, I'm not a real engineer, but the real engineers have let me pretend for the day so that you and I can learn all about trains and what they do and how they work. Now, obviously, this is not a locomotive. This is what's called a speeder. Speeders are used out on the track for doing maintenance work and moving the crews around. So what do you say? You and I go for a ride. Let her go, Jack. Chances are you've never gotten this close to one of these big locomotives, and you never should unless you have special permission from the railroad and a guide to show you around. You probably didn't realize just how big and powerful they are. They are big and powerful. They weigh hundreds of tons, and when they're going at full speed, it takes over a mile to stop them. So if you don't remember anything else after watching There Goes a Train, I hope you'll remember this. Don't ever play on the railroad tracks. It's not only illegal, but it is extremely dangerous. Well, this is a typical locomotive like you'd see hauling freight. And let's talk a little bit about how they work. This part up here is a big diesel engine. It has 20 cylinders, great big cylinders. And it causes a shaft to turn that runs a turbine. Now the turbine is located in there, and it's a big generator. It generates electricity. So that electricity is then put down by the wheels. In between the wheels, there are great big electric motors. So really what this is a diesel electric engine. The diesel provides the power that turns the turbine, that generates the electricity, that causes the motors to turn the wheels. Come on over here, I'll show you something else. This is a huge air compressor because all the brakes on the train and on the cars that it pulls are powered by air pressure. Now the motor turns this, which creates the air pressure that allows the train to stop. As you can see, these engines are really big. You're really high in the air when you're up here on the roof. Now, if we go down here, you'll notice the headlights. When the train is running, these headlights are always on for safety, so anyone can see you coming. I want you to look down here. That's the very front of the train, and that's kind of a plow device. That's for traveling in the winter. It pushes all the snow off the tracks. Let's go inside. Now we've come into the cab of this big locomotive, and I want you to meet somebody. This is Engineer Larry. How you doing?
How you doing?
You know, the first thing I noticed, Larry, about the cab that's unusual to me, there's no steering wheel.
Well, basically, this engine just goes right where the tracks are laid out.
Wherever they go,
wherever they go, that's where we're going to go.
Okay, how about the controls?
Basically, it's all set up where you go forward, you go backwards, and go fast or stop. That's all there is to it.
Now, believe it or not, sometimes the 4,000 horsepower that this big engine provides is not enough. So what they do in a case like that is they hook more than one of these big engines together. As you can see, there are 3 of them hooked together here. Come here and I'll show you how they do it. This is the coupling device. It holds the 2 trains together. It's kind of like holding hands like that, and it keeps them from coming apart, but there's enough flexibility there that when they go around curves and things, it can move. These hoses are electrical hoses here, These are the control hoses, and of course this other device you may not know about is sometimes the wheels slip. There's a little squirting device that actually squirts sand onto the track that gives the train traction and creates friction so they can get up steep hills. This big car behind me is a boxcar. You'll see a lot of those on freight trains because they're used for hauling all kinds of different cargo. Now this next car up is a tanker car. You'll see a lot of those too. This particular one is full of liquefied petroleum gas. Now this gives us a good opportunity to take a close-up look at the wheels on these cars. If you look close, you'll see that that little lip there, only about an inch thick, is actually what holds the train on the track. Pretty amazing, huh? Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're thinking we're at the airport. And the fact is, that tower behind us is much like the tower that they have at an airport. But instead of controlling airplanes, it controls trains and lots of